Before we're gonna learn how to needle felt, I want to tell you very important information, and it is needles. Please keep them at all times in this container unless you needle felting. When you're done needle felting, please put them back and close it. It's very important information. Hi guys, my name is Ola Birch and we're gonna learn how to needle felt today. You probably have one of these 3 kits. Technique is the same for all of 3 kits, so I'll be showing it to you on this corgi. Let's paint with wool. We're gonna work on this guy today. First things first, let's find the colors that go with our kit. Pink for ears and tongue, black for nose and eyes, yellow for the corgi head, and white for the snout and paws. If you're working on a different kit, your colors may vary, but there's a picture in your kit so you can coordinate your colors according to the picture. Now let's take the needle out. It's sharp, so be careful. I can't stress it enough. This is where we're gonna store it while we're felting. Just in a foam, not on a table, so it doesn't roll around and we don't lose it. I love needle felting because you can stab things without consequences. To needle felt, you need to stab this pad and you need to use a little bit of force. Here I'm showing you how the force looks. Please try it before you start felting. You need to make sure your needle goes in the same angle as you take it out, or you can harm your needle and we don't want that. Let's start with the ears. We already know it's going to be yellow, so we're going to take yellow wool and pull it gently. Let's take a small piece. If you see some particles of dirt, it's a good thing because it came from real sheep and she was rolling in the grass and picked some of those things up. Just peel it off and let's start stabbing. I'm stabbing around the contour. Contour, that's a real word. Counter, hopefully you understand what I'm saying here. So happy it's a felting class and not an English class because I would fail. Hopefully you can see better here. I am stabbing very slow and gentle. I'm helping with my needle, moving the wool where it has to be, and then I'm poking it. I start slow and then I can increase the speed. But speed is not crucial here. If you need to work slower, please do. You just need to give it enough force for wool to go inside of the pad. Do you see where I store the needle? It's not on a table, it's in the pad. Now let's finish coloring our doggo. Slowly go around the contours, fill all the colors, and if you have any questions, please contact me. You got my business card with your kit, so you can call me, email me, or message me on any social media. Here is a little trick for you. We need to put wool in a very thin area. So I took a piece of wool, I rolled it in my arm, created a kind of rope, and now it makes it much easier to felt. Hope this trick works. As always, don't rush. Go slow at first, and when you get a hang of it, then you can go crazy. But slow is the go. The sound of felting is definitely very relaxing. This is what I'm doing it. I absolutely love it and hope you have the same effect. Another reminder, when we take a wool, we pull it off. We don't cut it off. Very rarely we're going to cut it. Later I'm going to show you the areas where we can cut it. But for now, just pull and stab. While attaching your wool, make sure there's no areas of a background that come through. You can always layer another piece of wool on top. And if your piece was too big, you can just pull it off. Take all the excess wool away and felt the rest. You can see here that I'm helping with the needle, moving the wool to the line or contour, the word that I cannot say today. Here I have a little piece of dirt and I'm helping myself with a needle, and then I can take it away. I'm not sure if it drives anybody else crazy, but it sure does drive me crazy. This is why I try to take all the pieces away, which takes extra time, but it's okay because it's a very relaxing project. Another tip of the day, if your lines are not perfect, that's okay. That'll make things look more authentic, like a furry animal. Here I'm starting with the hardest part first. I'm rolling piece of wool and I'm gonna start with this thin line on the ear and then continue with the rest of the ear. You can also see here that I'm changing angle of my needle quite often depending on what move I need to do. Just again, please poke the needle in the same way as you take out so your needle doesn't break. And if your needle does break, please dispose of it in a very safe manner. You can also rotate your project to make it easier for you to color with wool. Now we need to fill the area in the ears, and it's going to be this pink color, the same as the tongue. Take a very small piece. If you pull it and stack it together, it's going to get thicker so you won't see your background through. Again, go slow and gentle. We're not in a hurry here. We're here to relax and have a very good time and create art. I bet you already start to feel real good because you're stabbing things and not people. So I can see a little bit of background showing through here. No worries, just take a small piece of wool, put it where you need it, and keep stabbing. Now let's do the rest of the face. I actually went with the face here and not the eyes. It may be easier if you start with the eyes, but technically it doesn't matter. I'm going to speed up this video a little bit as I don't think you want to watch like an hour video on how to needle felt. So here I'm going around the eye with a yellow, but in the end, I think it'll be easier if you start with the eyes and then cover the full head. And also if you see here, I'm gonna cover his eyebrows with yellow, but it's a very small and tiny piece that we can add with white later. Here, before I forgot where the eyebrow goes, I'm gonna take small little piece of white wool, rolled in my hands to make a shape of a circle, then rolled with my finger to make it an oval shape, and then I'm gonna poke it into the foam. And now we have an eyebrow. Ta-da! We're all done with the yellow parts, and if you have some imperfections, please go over them with your needle. Like if you have some bumpy or spots and you want to make them smoother, just poke them a little bit longer. Okay, let's start with eyes. Take a very small piece of black. You can also roll it in your hands and start with a smaller piece, and you can always add more, okay? If you put too much, it might look like a buggy eye, which is not a bad thing if you make a pug, for example. This is a very interesting moment. Do you see how I'm rotating the needle and picking up all the excess wool? And then I start stabbing it. It will help you with your project for sure. Now for a teeny tiny sparkle in his eye, I'm going to take a little piece of white wool, put it on the black, and just stab it gently. Here again, I'm rotating the needle, picking up all the fuzz, and then felting it in. This is a very slow process, but it's worth it. Yay, we got the eyes ready. Now is the time for the nose. But to be honest, the order of things does not matter. You can make it any way you like. You can start with all the small details and then go to the big. It's the way you like to color, and you can switch between colors or do only one color and go to the next. It doesn't really matter. And if you want, you can make his nose pink, but it's all up to you. Be creative with your project. Also, you can mix wool, which I'm going to show you later. Here is another little trick for you. If you roll wool into tiny ball, you can use it for his kind of nose area, little whiskers. I don't know what these bumpy little things called, but little chickies, I guess. So it's going to be more raised. You will see it later. I'll show you. So yeah, make it a little bit bumpier by putting a little bit more wool in there. Right here, if you look at from the side, it has quite a bump, and I achieved it by rolling a little ball. Let's do the same thing for another cheek or nose. What is it? Let me know in comments. I don't know the name for this. Since we raised his cheeks, I decided to add a little bit more volume to his nose so it will poke out a little bit too. It's time to add tongue. Do the same things you were doing, just with the different color. We're almost done. Time for his paws. It is gonna be much easier if you're gonna roll a little ball in your hands and then start attaching it, because it's kind of like three little circles stuck together. It's time for the finishing touches, and I'm just poking the areas that I think needs more work, and then I'm done. But wait! Would you like your project to look like this? If yes, keep watching. If no, relax and enjoy your art piece. Okay, if you're still here, you really want to know how to do it. You probably have some leftover black wool. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a small, thin strand. Now we need to roll it in our hands so it gets thinner. This is going to be our outline. I'm pulling on the wool a little bit to stretch it out, and then I'm starting rolling it. Do you see how it becomes so nice and thin? The more you roll, the thinner it's going to get. This is actually how they make yarn, by the way. If you keep rolling and twisting, you're going to make your own yarn that you can knit with. But we're not doing it today. Today we're felting. So when we created our own yarn, let's say, we pull it on outline and I keep stabbing it, but also I pull on it right here. I pull a little bit and then stab it. So the line becomes even thinner. This process is very slow, so be patient and keep stabbing. I use my other hand to help me guide the line. I'm holding it with my fingers and keep attaching this piece of yarn. First, I roughly stab it to make sure it's stuck, and then I can use a little bit more force and go a little bit faster to make this line. If you made your black line not that long, it's okay. You can make it out of smaller, shorter pieces. But I rolled this long one and it will last me till almost around the whole animal. Pull, twist, attach. Here I am at the end of my rope. I'm gonna create another one and continue with my outline. If you want to be super fancy, you can also put black line inside his ears, around the eyebrows, and around his snout. But I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna add little nuances, but not all over the dog. I'm gonna also put it in around his mouth and paws. Here is my rope is a little bit too long, so I put the needle in and then I cut the piece off because if I would pull it, it will destroy the line. So this is the only time that you can cut the wool, when it's a teeny tiny piece and it's super thin. Now that our outline is ready, I'm gonna show you how to mix wool. Take two different colors. I'm gonna take black and pink. And if I'm gonna start pulling and putting it together, like I'm doing right here, pull, put it together, pull again. The more you pull and put it together, mix. The more you mix, the more you're gonna see the different color. And this color I will use for the tongue, a little bit of shade and a line in the middle of his tongue. You can definitely use just black with all this fancy stuff, but I think it looks much cuter if you put a little bit more effort. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, give me some likes and shares. In the new year, 2024, I hope to have more different kits, cats, birds, and maybe some abstract or mountains. If you have suggestions, please let me know. Also, please check my Instagram account. It's Ola Birch. I have a lot of things there. I post there daily. In the end, when you're done your project and you'd like to share it, please send me an email or again, send me a message on Instagram. I would really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the next videos. Bye.